Karabo,
Hi, darling.
what is it with our grocery bills starting to look like we are trending on the stock market? It's starting to resemble like the shares. It's going up, up.
Guys,
There's no trendy where you see things going down.
all I can say, Concy, is we are barely making it. We are choking. We are being choked by these grocery bills. Everything is constantly going up. What is going on?
Like when I enter the supermarket, it's like I'm playing a high stakes game of just the price, you know.
Yeah.
Who knew that buying tomatoes, potatoes, and some eggs would need a financial advisor?
You know, yesterday after gym, I decided to just pop by Checkers. And then I was like complaining to the teller and saying, just 5 items, 600. Njani.
5 items.
I tell you.
But here's the thing now, Karabo. As the food for thought with Karabo and Concy, guys, if it's your first time, welcome to the channel. For the ones who've been with us since day one, today's talk is all for you. It's for all of us. It's about the rising food costs. It's about food inflation.
Yeah.
Karabo, explain to the people that are watching, what is it with CPI? What are these trends and what does it even mean?
Maybe let me start by giving you the latest numbers. Headline inflation dropped. But to show that by the food side of things, things are not so lekker, we actually saw food price inflation increase by 13.8% year on year. And this is January data. So what it means is for the same products, we are paying 13% more year on year, basically. 13% more.
Wowza.
And then the wage is more.
No, your wage increases is not 13.8%.
Exactly. So this is up from 12.7% in the previous month.
And this is why when you look at your salary and you're looking at the life you had maybe a year or two ago and you're like, but I used to be able to afford my life. Why can I not afford my life?
Yeah.
So just because we are an agri-focused channel, we're going to focus on the food prices and just say, where has the increase been and why have you seen these increases? Because trust me, it's not just a malicious act of producers trying to get to you.
Yeah.
There's really some dynamics behind why the prices have been increasing.
Yeah, and whilst we at it, I saw a headline that actually said, this is the highest in 14 years.
Wow.
14 years. So how crazy is that? We always said that we are grateful for our farmers because they're able to keep the prices down in comparison to internationally.
Yes.
You know, but still 14% is quite something.
Yeah, because when you actually compare to other regions, Karabo, food costs in other regions are starting to cool down.
Yeah.
But in South Africa, that has been the opposite.
Yes.
And that is mainly because the most essential part of our food basket has really been impacted by a lot of local dynamics.
Yes.
And that is what we're going to get into.
Definitely. So big increases we saw in bread and cereals, meat, fish, fruit and veggies. And the just to give you maybe a context, your meat contributes 35% to the whole basket.
Yeah.
Bread and cereal, 21%, veggies, 8%. And that's why those 4 items that I mentioned, you know, actually bring up this much increase.
And all of these things are essential items. We're not even talking luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, bread and cereals, that is how much? 21% of the food basket. And we've been seeing increases.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, from the grains and the oilseed part, yes, we have good crops and all of that. Even this year, we're expecting good crop.
Yes.
But prices remain elevated.
Yeah.
And this is because of reasons from the previous season, previous year, you know, high maize prices, high soybean prices, high sunflower prices. Remember the time when we were rushing to the stores for sunflowers, guys? So it's all because of what happened with the Ukraine war that actually had a massive impact on our bread and our cereals. You know, so global prices, our local prices, commodity prices follow global prices. And that's why we've just had high commodity prices. And then it trickled down to the retailers. And some of these things you're only seeing now, but it's just been having a lagged effect because at the farm gate, it was immediate. It was last year, but we're only feeling some of the pinch now.
Yeah, definitely. Things have just been crazy. And again, if you look at the trends, even before the Ukraine war and Russia war hit, prices were already starting to increase. So it's factors that were already in play, but then the Russia-Ukraine war made everything worse. And even with our bumper crop that we did produce, we're still seeing these crazy increases.
Yeah, and with the high input cost, it also just added a double whammy to that, because now profitability is an issue. So the producers are also factoring the high input cost in that.
Yeah. Secondly, the meat side of things.
Yes.
We saw some foot and mouth disease outbreaks. We talked about it in the other videos. Things were just so chaotic.
Yeah.
As we did say, grain is a very big contributor in terms of animal feed. And we just did say grain prices are high, which means ultimately food prices are high. So yeah, it's been hectic.
It's really been hectic. When we're thinking milk, we're thinking eggs. I don't know if you've baked lately, but there was a time when egg prices were also just going through the roof. And you're thinking dairy, you know. All those also very feed intensive industries. So when you don't have enough soybean cake to feed the animals, or it's at a high price, and we also have high maize prices, it also factors into those industries. That's why you find your egg prices, your poultry prices, your meat in terms of your porkers, your, what else did I mention? Your dairy, your milk.
Yes.
All of that becomes more expensive because it's more expensive for the producers to actually feed their livestock and get the produce to you. And we're not even talking all the additional stuff through the value chain that gets added until it gets to you.
And also just to add the load shedding factor. So load shedding is just making things worse, because for those farmers who are actually irrigating, you know, the power cuts are disrupting the whole schedule, which ultimately, you know, is not good for the development of the crop.
Yeah.
And we also saw, is it February, where we had crazy, is it January?
Yeah, around end of January, beginning of February, we had very high temperatures.
Yeah, crazy temperatures, and obviously that is not so good.
Yeah, you cannot irrigate when you don't have load shedding and temperatures are too high. It affects the yield, it affects the supply.
Yeah.
Low supply, we always say this with Karabo, low supply, high prices, right?
Yeah.
So that is actually a big thing in the fruit industry.
Yes.
And in the vegetable industry, especially, I remember with potatoes, there was a time potato prices were very high, guys. So we had the excessive rains also, remember, like in January and end of December. That also impacted a lot of the supply, because now we had a lot of pests and diseases because of the excessive water. There was the quality and supply issues. So because of volumes being down at the fresh produce market and at the retailers, you found that your vegetable sector was also impacted and prices were very high.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, you must at least tell us, what are you guys seeing there by the markets? You know, are you happy with the prices? Are you very unhappy like us? But I want to say that we are all feeling the pinch.
Yeah.
And going forward, it's only that we can hope for the best in terms of the weather and everything going forward. But with the load shedding and, you know, there's some upside risks.
Yeah, absolutely. The load shedding is a key element to watch out now. And weather, to make sure everything goes according to plan.
Yeah.
So we can't say prices will come down. It's still a factor you need to monitor and just keep abreast on what's happening on developments and infrastructure. Investments from government, and making sure that we can produce we can actually have the infrastructure to get our produce to the farms, to the processors, to everybody along the value chain, so that at least the cost can be alleviated on the consumer end. Hey?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things we just have to reprioritize our budgets.
Yeah.
You know, because food just takes up a whole lot of money.
Absolutely. And for a lower income household, you know, food is a necessity. There's no way you're not going to buy food. So you're going to skimp on your savings or maybe your investment and other expenses to buy food at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So guys, just be vigilant. And that is about that when it comes to the food price inflation. We've explained why it's expensive. So yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll also keep you posted, you know, in terms of other developments going forward. And yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, from the Agri Duo, I'm going to leave you with one thing to think about, guys. Maybe we should start investing in broccoli and carrots and pork and all of these things.
We must have our own vegetable
At least we can literally
farms.
eat our profits.
Vegetable farms at home, and you know, grow your own chickens in your backyard,
Yes.
etc., etc. But we need to start thinking about that.
The key is you can eat your profits.
We must
They are
eat
alive to
all
be
eat
eaten.
our profits.
They are not
But we-
at the JSE doing this. They are going cuckoo in the background.
We are growing to eat them,
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
Until next time.
Yeah, that is it from the Agri Duo. Stay tuned. Follow us on all our platforms. Everything will be in the description box below. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.